Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tayllor Lloyd. If you are new here, I'm your new tech bestie, and today we're talking about my current filming setup. So I use the same filming setup for YouTube as I do for my short form content, and on those platforms I get tons of questions all the time about how I'm filming stuff, what my setup looks like, and all of the small intricate details. So today I'm making this video to help out with that. A few disclaimers: you do not need all the things I'm about to mention. I have been creating content online for about 10 years, maybe a little bit more. So I've accumulated a lot of things. I'm also a tech influencer by trade, so I am often testing out products and gifted things to try, which helped me get to this point. So now that we're clear on that, let's get into it. We're gonna start with lighting, and then cameras, and then action. Yeah. And then mics and monitors, and just like an overview, also some extra things that I have. I want this to be as informative as it can. So if you are looking to build a setup or need a little inspiration, make sure you get something to take some notes, and let's get into it. Starting off with lighting, I have lights from a few different places. As you can see, there's lots of lights in my background. We're gonna touch on every one of them, but we're gonna start with the Amarin 150C, which is right in front of me. It is like my main light in this setup. As you can see, it's reflecting off of my glasses. It has a diffuser on it to soften the blow because this light gets very, very bright, and I have it on a light stand. I think I got the light stand off of Amazon. It is not expensive and that is why I don't move that light often, because it's got a little wobble to it, but it works for me, so I leave it be. Bars. After that, the second light I got from Amarin is to the side. You cannot see it in this shot, but I will put some B-roll in. It is the Amarin F21X, and I use it as over my gaming setup, which is like halfway out the shot. I like this as an overhead light. Sometimes I will use this over product shots, or if I'm doing detailed shots and I want my overhead setup to look really good, I'll bring that light over here. It is on a C-stand. The C-stand is heavy, it is bulky, it is not something I love to move around, so most of the time it's parked over that desk, but it does give a little ambiance. The two full lights on the ground, they're like right behind me, are also Amarin. They are PT1Cs. They are these little tube lights that put off a pretty good amount of color. You can change the color to whatever you want. So I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like with all those lights off in my setup. As you can see, I do have other lights back there, but for the most part, they give me what I need. They kind of like power the setup, so I'm gonna turn them back on. Thing I also like about this is you can control how bright they are. For the Amarin 150C, I keep mine about 74%. I'm gonna turn it up to 100 so you can see the difference. Can you see that? It's overexposed at that point, so I usually keep it lower because of that, but very bright light, very functional. I think these are great lights for beginners, all of the ones that I mentioned. However, they are more of an investment. So if you are on a more constricted budget and you're like, I don't want to spend, a couple $100 on a light at all, I really only have 100, 150, panel lights. I have a panel light on right now to the side of me here. I really have two, but only one of them is on. I bought them as a set years and years and years ago from Amazon. Absolutely love them. Before I had this lighting, they carried me through, and I got these lights about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. So I've been using these things for years, and they're my ride or die lights. They're also affordable. They are under $150, or they were the last time I checked. I'll try to pop things up on the screen and also link everything down below. This will be like alternative lighting. I think they're a really great budget-friendly way to start. Obviously, if you're still like, I don't got that, natural lighting is gonna be your best bet. It is a little inconsistent, especially when you're filming long form content, because the cloud move, it just can get a little inconsistent. But when you're starting out, you have to work with what you got. So if what you have is just natural lighting, make it work. I would say my background lights are Amazon. This is a panel light. This little smiley face light I got from Amazon. I don't know if it's still there. Last time I looked, it was like sold out, but I got that from Amazon as well. And then my Tech Bay light is also from Amazon. I don't know if you guys knew, but you can order custom lights from Amazon. As far as lighting goes, that is pretty much my setup. So moving on to cameras. Now, I'm currently filming on the Canon R8. I love this camera so much. It is full frame. You can shoot log on this camera, which is like that muted footage that you can add LUTs and stuff over to make it look better. You can change out the lenses. You can shoot 4K up to 60 frames per second, no crop. What that means is when you go to 4K, it will not crop in. You get the full frame still, which is one of the best selling points for me for this camera. Like I said, you don't need a camera like this, but that's what I'm currently filming on. I shoot on 4K 30 frames per second all the time. I don't change it. I know some people choose 24 frames, some people like 60 if you wanted to do slow-mo, but I rarely do slow-mo, so 4K 30 frames. That's where I shoot on. Now I do have other suggestions for more budget-friendly cameras, and we can do an entire video about that. Really quickly, I would say if you want a camera setup that is similar, that can shoot 4K, you can change out your lenses on, but you don't want to spend more than $1,000, I would highly recommend the Canon R50. That is my little baby. That camera does a lot. It is not full frame, it is crop censored, so you have to do the math with the lenses for that, but it's worth the money and you can get a lot for your money with that camera. And like I said, if y'all want an in-depth video on cameras, we can do that. But yeah, that's what I shoot on. And then if you are like starting off with your iPhone, that is a great camera. Phone cameras have come a long way, and if you only have your iPhone, start with that. There's no point, I tell people all the time, there's no point in investing in expensive things if you haven't proved to yourself that you can even create the content you're trying to create to begin with. Start with your phone. I have the iPhone 15 Pro Max and I love it. I feel like this camera is phenomenal, especially for on the go. The only reason I don't shoot content on my phone is because I do have cameras and I'm like, I spent money on these cameras. I'm gonna get my money's worth. I'm gonna set these things up every time. But you don't need a camera to be a content creator. So let's just keep that in mind. Your phone shoot 4K, 30 frames per second, just like my camera does. You don't got no excuse, friend. Get started. Okay, now that we're done with cameras, we're gonna talk about monitors really quickly because these are the questions I get the most. It's about my monitor that I'm looking at right now. It is a Samsung computer monitor. It is mounted on a stand on wheels, and all of these things came from Amazon. I tether my camera, like I literally just use an HDMI cord to micro HDMI because that is what my camera calls for. A lot of people are like, how do you hook your camera up to your monitor? You use the proper cord. So some of my cameras are micro HDMI, some of them are mini. You have to know what the thing you're filming on requires, but it's just one simple cord. Usually on the monitor side, it is an HDMI cord. So to answer that question, that is how I hook it up. One cord, simple, plug it in and go. This monitor I really like because I can do horizontal or I can do vertical. So I can use this at my setup for any of the content I shoot, which is why I got this stand in particular that rotates. I love that, and I would highly recommend it if you're looking for a bigger monitor setup and you want something that you can use for short form and long. This is the one to do it. Everything, of course, like I said, it's going to be linked below. So I got you, friend. I got you. Also, there are smaller monitors. So there are monitors that you can actually hook up and like mount onto your camera. I have a couple of those. I have one from Field World and one from Viltrox. One of them is mounted up here on my overhead rig, which we'll get into. These kind of monitors are great. The Viltrox one I think is going to be a better buy. It might be a little more expensive, but if you're going to spend the money on a monitor, make sure it is touchscreen. I made the mistake of buying one that is not touchscreen and there's buttons on the side and it's just a lot of finagling. It just makes it a little more complicated when you're trying to hurry up and shoot the thing. The thing about cameras are they are great, but they have these little 3-inch screens, and it's like if you're far away from the camera or you're not super close up like where you can see that little screen, it becomes difficult to see if you're in focus. And there's nothing worse than filming and then looking back and noticing you're not in focus. Like, hate that. And if you don't want to buy either one of those, you can always use like iPads, your laptops, thing like that. By this just tethering, it's just a simple plug. There are lots of videos out here about how to use your iPad as a monitor. I have one on my short form. I'll pop it up on the screen. I'll also link it down below where you can almost like mirror and use your iPad. You can also use your camera's app. I have the Canon app and I can use my phone or another device as a monitor through the Canon app for free. So there are free options if you don't want to buy a monitor, but I would highly suggest monitoring your feedback from your camera, like what you're filming, so you can make sure you're in focus, because like I said, it sucks when you're not. Now, microphones. I am currently using this microphone that is dragging my shirt down, but that's okay. It is the Movo mic. I have talked about this mic over and over and over and over again. I think Movo actually sent me this microphone, and ever since they sent it, I've just been using it and it works. It's more of a if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I do have other mics. I have a Ceramonic mic that I really like. I have a Godox mic that I have to open because it's like, how many mics do you need, girl? But these are all like wireless mics where you plug one side into your camera and you use the other side, and it's just like, you see, and so I can be far away from my camera and still film and have a really good audio. These are more so of investment mics, right? They're gonna be $100+. They're also like, I think they're called shotgun mics. I could be wrong, but you can pop them on top of your camera and plug them right into your camera. I have a ton of them. I have some by Movo, I have some by Rode, and I think they are great microphone options as well, great solutions. My only issue is if you need to be further back from your camera, the quality of your sound decreases. So just keep that in mind. You can get those off of Amazon. If you want to increase your audio quality, which I think is very important, definitely invest in a microphone. Any of the mics that I link down below are going to be good options. Now, the other thing I would suggest is, if you don't want to buy a microphone, is like using your iPhone voice memo. You can always turn voice memo on, set up your phone, prop it up near you, and use that as a microphone. Obviously, if you're filming on your iPhone, you get the audio from your iPhone and it's fine. But if you have a camera and you don't have a mic and you're kind of far away from your camera, just use a voice memo from your iPhone. Or if you have a different phone, just use the voice recording or voice memo app and go from there. Tripods, I have a couple tripods around here, but the one I'm going to focus on is the one that is holding my camera up right now. I got this off Amazon years ago. Okay, it was an investment. It was over $100, and I think it was like $120 at the time, but I like it because I can mount my camera vertically or horizontally, so just it's on this like ball and it just kind of tilts, and I like that because that means I don't have to break down, take my camera off of one tripod to put it on another to film my vertical content. Everything's done from this tripod. It also has this setting where you can like extend it over and kind of do overhead shots. I think it works for certain things. For me, I prefer to use a C-stand if I want a real overhead shot that's high up. But for just getting like some desk content or like trying to capture things real quickly, it does work for that. I don't really use it for that, but it does have that option. It's a great tripod. It's not super travel friendly, but it works for a good setup. So this tripod I would highly recommend. I also have this overhead rig. So right now I'm at this tabletop. I don't want to call it a desk because I don't really use it as a desk. I bought this tabletop to do one thing and one thing only, and that was get overhead shots. So while I'm talking, if I had a product right here in my hands and I was talking about it, I have a setup to capture that overhead content. I love having this. This is an extra. This is not a thing you need, okay? It's just an extra thing that comes in handy if you do a lot of unboxings or if you do a lot of product reviews where you want people to see the product in motion as you're talking about it. My R50 is mounted above here along with the Viltrox monitor, and I'm using this overhead rig I bought from Amazon. Thinking back, I feel like it was a pretty good investment, and it came with a bunch of different poles, so you can adjust the height. You can like lift it up or pull it down, and it attaches to this tabletop, which makes it so much easier. I do change the camera out from time to time. I've used my RP up there as well, and sometimes if I want real good quality, I'll just switch and put my R8 up there to capture something, but it just depends on what I'm shooting. The only other thing that I have I'm like looking to see is my iPad and iPad stand. I'll pull that in right now. It just sits in the corner, and I usually keep my notes on there because I get off track real bad. I feel like I didn't tell y'all what lens I film on, and you might want to know that. So I use a 24mm lens to get this shot in this angle. It has a 1.8 f-stop. I'll make sure that's linked down below just in case you want that. Other than that, that's it. The tabletop, also quickly, the tabletop that I'm talking about, I did also get that on Amazon. And it was just cheap. It was like not an expensive thing. I just literally needed a tabletop to film on. Nothing crazy. So yeah, from Amazon too. And I think that covers everything in my filming setup. Like I said, I use this corner of my office because it's convenient, because this is still a functioning office for me. I have 2 other desk setups in here that I use all the time. So for me, it was really important to have something that was like easy to break down. I just moved this desk or this tabletop over to this wall and put it against the wall, and I back all of my filming stuff up into the corner, and it's fine, you know, and it's like really quick and easy setup for me. And I found that the easier the setup, the easier it is to actually go create content, the more content you create. So, okay, y'all, I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, of course, meet me in the comments, and I would be more than happy to answer anything you want to talk about there. And other than that, I will see you guys in my next upload.